Well, hello there, it's Ina here, and welcome to my art room. So, today I want to decorate this really nice box I found at a thrift store. I like the wood plank design, it has a nice closure, but of course, I want to add things to it. What I have here is a piece of rubber. I actually found it in the streets on one of my walks. It's very thin but sturdy and has nice texture. I want to use it for a little platform, but before I glue it down, I added some black gesso, as afterwards I will have a hard time getting to the spot. And in order to level it, I use a button, as you can see here. Now, because the box is very sturdy and well designed to start with, I won't over decorate this, but rather want to try out a couple of things that have been in my mind, and you'll see in a moment. So I used my E6000 to glue everything down, and now I'm also adding some push buttons from my sewing kit, and I will use them to simulate nails or screws at the end of these planks here. Now, most of the time when I do these type of alterations, I add all my elements and then work on top of it is my black gesso. But in this case, I want to start with the black surface. The reason is that this box is very bright and very light, and most likely it will be hard to get into the grooves and underneath anything I will be adding afterwards to cover it completely. So it makes sense to give it a first coat right here, especially in those little ridges and hard to reach corners. And then of course this needs to dry before I can go on. Here is the way it looks now. The bottom I can do afterwards. Next is a step I had in my mind to try out for quite a while, and that is using drinking straws to make pipes or give the illusion of pipes. And in some way it's really easy because they have a joint, so they're bent nicely and you can stick them into each other like a little building set. And I also added a bit of string, not even so much for strings but more for looks, and you just have to measure a little bit to where you're going with this. Now it is a little fiddly. I used recyclable straws, and they're not quite as strong as maybe those old-fashioned plastic ones, but I managed, and I think the end result looks really cool. Now, in all my videos, I add out the repetitious stuff, but you are not missing anything. I will also put anything you need to know in the captions. So for the straw, I used my tacky glue, and then I have these kids' toys, and I cut them down a bit, but then they make perfect plugs for the end of the straws. Of course, you want to plug them up, not just for looks, but also to make them more sturdy. That way you can add a bit of pressure to it when you glue them down. And yes, the straws are also a bit springy, and I had to hang on to them a bit until the glue took effect. Now for the plugs, you can use all kinds of other things as well, but you need something that has more or less the right size to plug these ends. All right, I think this is a good time to turn you over to some music. Please enjoy the process, and I will talk to you in just a wee bit. So before I complete the outside, the little platform, I want to work on the inside, and for that I want to use this really pretty handmade paper. It wasn't made by me, but it has great color and great texture. So I cut it to size, but it wasn't color fast, as you can see on my fingers. So I sealed everything with my Mod Podge. It also makes the surface a bit easier to clean. And now I can go on to my little platform, and I pulled out all kinds of metal doodads, and I use the glossy accent to glue it all down because it has a finer tip. Now the little black piece here is made out of leather. Everything else is either taken from my broken jewelry stash or just some embellishment pieces. I will also add a pen tip and a tiny bit of chain, and I try to combine it in a way that the colors match because I won't paint this part. You know me, with many of my projects I prefer to add some unpainted parts towards the end or as a focal point. And this is my focal point for today, a pretty owl emblem, and it has a steampunk flair and was sent to me by one of my viewers. And I believe this is a perfect place for it to shine. Of course, all of this needs to dry really well, but then I'm pretty much done with my project, and of course I will give you a good overview and you can have another look at all the details. So here it is, everything is done, everything is dry, and here's a close-up of the top. You see the little chain that moves, all the other elements, and as I said earlier, I purposely didn't overload this. I really wanted those pipes to shine, and I think they look pretty cool. And the cheesecloth really gave it the texture it needed, not only on the wood but also on the pipes. Here is the inside, and as I said earlier, it's clean and sealed, but it still has some texture. So I really hope that you enjoyed this project and it gave you some useful ideas. Here on the top, I really just wanted to create a focal point, and for the rest of the box, create texture. The texture paste stays in nice contrast to the cheesecloth, so the whole box feels really nice in my hand. I want to thank you for coming today. I hope you had a good time and you come to see me soon again. I will be back latest by next Friday. Please stay safe, stay creative, and bye bye for now.